Hello everyone! Welcome to an instructional tutorial video for the Healthy River Ecosystem Assessment System, short-formed to THREATS, designed and operated by Greenland International Consulting. Here we'll be walking through how to use the water quality module and all of its features in THREATS. The THREATS Water Quality Module has numerous uses and is a valuable tool for improving efficiencies with data processing and analysis. The Water Quality Module allows users to access water quality data from DataStream and the Provincial Water Quality Monitoring Networks in Alberta, Government and Parks. Hydrometric flow data is collected from Water Survey of Canada. The active connection to each of the databases enables THREATS to produce current water quality analyses. This module can be used to merge, collect, and analyze water quality data, aid in identifying data gaps, run statistical analysis on the chosen dataset, and compare against regional and national guidelines. It has an ability to conduct flux analysis by combining water quality and hydrometric gauge data. It has the potential to evaluate trends using statistical tests. Now, onto the tutorial. Go ahead and open THREATS. In the upper right-hand corner, navigate to Welcome Guests and press Sign In. Put in your credentials and don't forget to acknowledge the disclaimer. Press Sign In. Then we're going to launch our site. In the drop-down Tools menu, we're going to navigate to Water Quality module.
The Water Quality module allows users to filter water quality data by location or chemical parameter. The system automatically filters to only include locations with desired chemicals or produces a list with the available chemicals at the chosen location. Let's investigate research on a specific chemical, say chloride, for a road salt study as an example. By selecting chloride in the chemical parameter list, all available stations with chloride data return on the map. Looks like there's a water quality station with chloride data upstream of the town of Rocky Mountain House. This station is along the North Saskatchewan River. We will be selecting dissolved as our speciation. Let's press Submit to see what comes up. Here, THREATS has developed a scatter plot of measured values and calculated line of best fit for time versus concentration. There are hundreds of records of water quality data at this location from the mid-1980s onward. The line of best fit has indicated a negative slope for the average concentration of chloride. The bounds are specific to the available data. The user can zoom in and out as desired and can quickly reset the axis by pressing the house icon. The user can choose between a line graph or month or year box plots. The months box plots show that June and October are the months that have the greatest concentrations of chloride. There are options to download the data as a CSV or produce it in Plotty. It is also noted that there are a lot of values as 1 milligram per liter concentration of chloride. This is likely caused by the data collection process using equipment that has a methane detection limit of 1 milligram per liter. THREATS has incorporated tools to aid the user in managing data like this. There are 3 options available for showing results that are reported less than the minimum detection limit. These include assigning all values under the MDL as 0, assigning all values as the MDL, or assigning all values as half the MDL. There's also an opportunity to remove all values that are under the MDL. This selection will influence the chart and assessed trend line. As you can see, how the MDL is assessed changes slope and appearance of the data. We can also see that there is a very significant gap in the data where no data was collected for over 20 years. The user can define the temporal range by specifying the start and end dates. Threats will fetch either real-time or historical data from Water Survey of Canada, as well as any data stream data available, depending on the dates selected. This means that Threats is continuously updating to reflect the most current water quality data. For this analysis, we will specify the start and end dates at 2005 and 2022, respectively. This provides an analysis on only the most recent data. As you can see, the data is slightly changed from what we saw before, and this also changes the trend line, where we're now seeing a positive slope of increasing concentrations. Now, let's select by location. In this case, let's say we're performing a study centered in Edmonton, Alberta, along the North Saskatchewan River. We want to find out what chemicals are available at the selected water quality station. Here, we are selecting the North Saskatchewan River at Devon as our location, which is upstream of Edmonton. Here we see that there are numerous chemicals available. We can scroll or type to find phosphorus, as total forms in all mixed forms of peat. Often, chemicals can be broken down further to specify the fraction or speciation. Threats is a powerful tool for assessing water quality data, though it's the responsibility of the user to understand what analysis is right for them. In this case, we will be selecting all forms of total phosphorus. Let's run an analysis by pressing Submit. As you can see, a similar scatter plot appears with all of the concentrations versus time for water quality of phosphorus at this location. At any time, if the user pressed the wrong chemical or the wrong station, a quick easy X or a clear selection can remove the selections and thus restarting. This is a good graph, though it doesn't compare against the Canadian standards for water quality. Threats provides guidelines using the Canadian Council Minister of Environment and regional guidelines from the North Saskatchewan Water Quality Framework. Let's look at the same Devon water quality station on the North Saskatchewan River, but instead, let's change our parameter from phosphorus to fluoride. And see where it compares to the North Saskatchewan Water Quality Framework guidelines at Devon. If interested, the user can select View List to see the full list of chemical guidelines to compare against. As you can see, they also have provided the CCME guideline and North Saskatchewan Water Quality Framework website links to further look into the specific standards and methodology of recording and assessing data. Let's look for fluoride requirements for Devon. In the appendix, the chemical, speciation, and median trigger and peak trigger, also known as the limit, are included for each of the sites governed by the North Saskatchewan Water Quality Framework. The framework tells us that fluoride at the Devon should be around 0.12 milligrams per liter. Let's go ahead and press Submit. Here we see a few horizontal dotted lines that have been added to indicate where the guidelines are, specific to this parameter. The guideline shows that the limit at 1 milligram per liter has never even been reached, which is positive to hear, though the trigger, also known as the peak, has been reached a few times over. Threats has numerous procedures depending on the parameter selected. Let's see what the lead concentration looks like. When we selected lead, the parameter guideline required an input of hardness of calcium carbonate required. Let's first go in and define what an average hardness looks like in this river. We'll remove the guideline for now. As you can see, the hardness ranges from as low as 100 milligrams per liter to as high as over 200, though we will be taking the average at, say, approximately 170 milligrams per liter. We noted that the average was 170 milligrams of hardness per liter. We'll also go back into the North Saskatchewan framework to determine that lead, the speciation is used as total. Let's press submit again. Here we can see that the evaluation of the water quality data compared to the North Saskatchewan water quality framework requirements at Devon, notice that there are a few occurrences where the water quality concentrations are higher than both the peak and the limit guidelines. Another useful tool in the threats program is the ability to group and compare data sets. If we see that a single water quality location does not have a lot of data, threats can be used to group and or compare sets of data. In our example, we see that there are a couple of stations of interest, one along the Red Deer River and one along the South Saskatchewan River, just before the confluence. We can first compare the data of these two rivers to determine if one or the other is contributing higher concentrations. Our contaminant of choice will be total coliform. As you can see, we have two groups of data. Group 1, noted as green, are the Red Deer River water quality data points. The blue is the South Saskatchewan River data points. We can see that both data sets have an increasing trend of total coliform since the early 2000s. Since there isn't a close water quality station after the confluence of these two rivers, we could also combine the data. We can drag and drop the titles to form one solid group between the two of them. This analysis is particularly advantageous if there are very few data points at several locations in close proximity to each other on the same watercourse. As you can see, the data is the same, though it's grouped as one, and there is only one line of best fit, which also indicates that a positive or increasing concentrations of coliform are existing. Concentration is one way to compare the health of a watercourse, though chemical loading and statistical analysis can further inform the user of changes occurring in a stream. Threats has the ability to run additional analysis using a hydrometric station. Threats has the capability to produce a flux analysis and other statistical evaluations by combining water quality data with a hydrometric flow monitoring station. For the flux analysis to be successful, the water quality station must have a minimum of 50 data points that correspond to the same period as the continuous hydrometric flow station. The grouping option is a great tool to help achieve this. It's best to choose a hydrometric station that is along the same watercourse and in the same proximity to the water quality station. This will provide the most accurate of results. For our study, we will choose the Athabasca River at 27. And for our hydrometric station, we will choose the one downstream of Fort McMurray. We will be looking at the chemical parameter cadmium, as this region is particularly concentrated in oil sands operations. We will be choosing total for our evaluation. As you can see, threats produced a concentration versus time graph again, which we've seen earlier in other analysis, though in this case it's also produced a flux analysis. Here we're seeing the flux computed daily, which shows the flux in kilograms per day against the time. The flux analysis is computed using the exploration and graphics for river trends egrets analysis package. The flux is equivalent to the chemical loading rate and is a result of manipulating the hydrometric flows and the concentrations. Let's check out some of the other scatter plots. Here we can compare residue or concentration, flux, normalized, or discharge and time, as well as many others. Additionally, THREADS has the ability to generate statistical analysis of the data. The seasonal and trend decomposition using Lewis are computed using derived values from the egrets flux analysis. A relationship can be found between flow and load. Here we see that the seasonal, this recurring temporal pattern, is noted in the first graph, followed by the trend, the Lewis derived pattern. Here we see this is the trend over time, with when the seasonal trend has been removed. Further, when you combine these, the remainder graph shows the noise or the outliers in the data. Remainder graphs with values closer to 0 indicate a more accurate seasonal and trend data set. As you can see, the numbers vary, though most are generally close to the value of 0, indicating a good quality of data set. Finally, one can also produce a man-candle chart, which is another statistical analysis. The man-candle chart evaluates both the annual and monthly trends between the years. Here we're seeing a slow decrease in overall concentrations, as well as we're seeing the greatest decrease during the months of May, June, and July at these locations. So here, now we have a graph which has all the parameters needed for analysis. The chemicals have been selected, the locations defined, dates specified, and produce numerous ways of showcasing the data depending on our needs. And there you have it. The THREADS Water Quality Module is an excellent tool for quickly assessing water quality data. The filtering features allow the users to gather information that is important to their study, and the statistical analysis streamlines the data management process. Additional information on DataStream, CCME, and the Alberta Water Quality Guidelines, or the egrets flux calculation, can be found in the module's About section, found in the upper right-hand side. Thank you so much for listening. This video was proudly made by Greenland International Consult.